Disclaimer: if you do not like serious subjects, leave now. If you do not like being triggered about serious things, leave now. Still listening? Good. Then let's begin. This is my name. Let me introduce myself as Phil of and Games, or in real life, I'm called Phil. It's simple. Obvious. 2 weeks ago, PewDiePie / Felix was attacked by the media. They called him an anti-Semitic and a Nazi because of a joke he made. And he made a video and admitted, yes, he took the joke too far. But they took it too far too, by not going to him, but going to Disney, his employer, Disney, and YouTube, which was a bad idea, and basically YouTube pulled his funding. Now, the media is cruel. I know it. I've listened to it. It's a cruel place. They're ruthless, they're not very compassionate, and they will get what they want, no matter what you say or do. It's ridiculous. So, this whole scenario feels a lot like Split, that movie. The controversy over it is also ridiculous. But that's a subject for another day. To put it simply, it's like Rob Dyke said. A lot of people in this world are too scared of their own shadows. It's ridiculous. But I'm talking about Felix. Felix didn't deserve that. Sure, the joke was taken too far. But like you said, the media could have come to his door, they could have solved the issue right then and there, and avoided this whole hoopla that has happened. But that's not the case. Basically, Felix's funding was pulled. I think he's still getting something, but a lot of it's gone. Disney doesn't really want to have anything to do with him anymore, to put it simply. Also, you probably have noticed that I'm sitting in my old familiar spot. That just tells you how serious I am about this. Yep, I remember this spot. All the early Let's Plays. That's because recently the channel's birthday came and went. So. But Felix, hang in there. There are big YouTubers that are giving you support, like Jack and Mark and others. And then there's me. I'm giving you my support too. I read the comments before I did this video. I did some intensive study to make sure I knew what I was talking about. And most of the people were like, we weren't insulted. And it's true, because they knew Felix. And they knew that most of his jokes were sarcastic. It's sarcasm. That's what comedy is. Where have you been, Wall Street? And the same can be said for any joke ever. Sure, there are some jokes out there that should not be told. And Nazi jokes, anti-Semitic jokes, yeah, that shouldn't be that you shouldn't do it, because people will get upset. Making fun of the World War is not a good idea, because it was a thing and people died. A lot of people died. So, but that's not why we're here. We're here for Felix. So Felix, well, you did take your joke too far. The media took what you did too far, and I'm sorry you have to go through this. This kind of feels like when my buddy Tyler did a prank some years ago and basically said he put Easter eggs all over the backyard with like $15 each in them, something like that. And the difference between my younger brother and I is that I didn't necessarily believe Tyler. I kept looking at Tyler skeptically, because I sort of knew that even somebody like Tyler wouldn't do such a thing like that. And he didn't. He laughed after a while and said, why would I do that? Why would I waste money on by putting in Easter eggs? Someone could steal it. And it's true. The difference between my brother and I is my brother went inside and he kept telling me to go inside, but I was like, no, it's a prank. Sure, it was half funny and half stupid, but the point is, that's what pranks are. They're half funny, half stupid. And that's kind of what this whole controversy is. The word to paste over this whole controversy is experience. Who is experienced with Felix and who isn't. Who understands that Felix is making jokes and who doesn't understand. Those that have been with Felix for a while, me being one of them, know that he's usually being very sarcastic. Now, I'm going to say something up front. I don't watch his videos often. But when I do, I watch how he does things, and I'm very jealous of him because who wouldn't want what he has? But that is a problem that I'm going to have to wrestle with because I shouldn't be jealous of him. I should be my own person, which I'm going to have to be. We will get there someday, just not yet. But most of the time, when the media does things on Felix, it's usually about the money he makes, and that's it. He's said this, other people have said this, it's true. I've looked. Nobody talks about his charity, nobody talks about other things he does, they only care about how much money he makes. Part of me tends to think that the media is jealous of him. They're like, how can someone who just plays games make so much? He's Felix. It's his life. And it's not necessarily because of him that I'm doing this. It's because it's something I've always wanted to do. I've always loved playing games ever since I first put my hands on a controller or a mouse. That's all I ever wanted to do. I'm not good at games. I'll admit it. It's true. But one thing I am good at is understanding controversy and what is not controversy. Fantasy and reality. And reality is Wall Street. That instead of picking at Felix and his jokes, as awful as they might be, instead of freaking out over them, you should go to him. If he ever does that again, go to him and say, you said you would fix this. Fix it. You want to go after something that's worth talking about? The slaughter of innocent unborn life is something you should go talk about, because it's a thing. If you did what you did for pleasure and you're going to have the kid, have it. Don't toss it out if you can't keep it, if you can't provide for it. You should have thought of that in the first place. I mean, I know they're going to say to me, it's my choice, but doesn't the life in you have a choice too? They didn't do anything to you. They're just being formed. And sure, it's going to be a pain in the neck in the long run, yes. But who knows? They could become the greatest person ever. They could become the next president. They'll save this stupid country. Sorry, Americans, but I'm German. My heritage is German. With Split, people freaked out over Split. When I watched Split in the theaters, I thought it was downright awesome. I understood what was going on. And it's like I explained to one of my best friends. And now I'm going off track. I should be talking about Felix, but this basically is the same thing. It's all about experience, really. And the point is, in Split, you're watching somebody who has multiple personalities being encouraged to do wrong, to be wrong, instead of being told you need to change. You need to stop having all these demons control you, and you need to take control of them instead. You need to tell them who's boss, and not them tell you. That's what I would have told him. Sure, he wouldn't have wanted to hear it, but I would have been like, I'm not supposed to be your friend. I'm supposed to be the guy telling you how it is. I'll play the bad guy happily. The point is, Felix didn't deserve that. And all the support he's getting is marvelous. Now, if Felix, say, made fun of something and wasn't sorry about it, something that he should have been sorry about, there would have been different videos coming up. Different people would say different things. But jokes these days, people just can't take them. I once upon a time couldn't take a joke either. And it wasn't until my best friend and brother Tyler came along and basically showed me how to, that I understood. We need more people like my best friend Tyler in the world. I mean, sure, he's not perfect, and the role model that he isn't the best to give. But it is that raw understanding Tyler has of the fact that the world is not a nice place. Yes, it's not. But he also understands that there is a time to be funny. And that's usually all the time, because he's always making light of things because this world is just too aggravating to not. It's a hard world. For everybody, including the Let's Players. So, really, like I said, all it is experience. And we all need to take a step back and be slow to speak, slow to anger, and slow to judge people. Wall Street, you need to sit back and realize that you can hurt people with what you say. Words hurt. They do. Words can kill people. They do. I know it. I've experienced it. I've seen what happens. And it's not fun. Words are a very dangerous tool, which is why we have to be careful with them. We must be careful. People are very sensitive, and it takes a lot of character to, instead of moaning about something that somebody says, to take it as it is and move on. Everyone will have a hard time with it. I have a hard time moving on with some things too. But we must. If we're going to survive and not kill each other in the long run, we have to appreciate the fact that even though, jokes aside, it wasn't right, that doesn't mean we go to everybody else except the person that we were offended by. We go to the person we were offended by. We confront them. We get the apology from them that we need, that or we don't, and then there's a bigger problem. Because I've seen what happens when someone gets away with something that should have been addressed. And I despise it when it happens. Because I feel like I'm the only person in this world who understands. Tyler knows who I'm talking about. You guys don't necessarily. So yeah, that's my piece. I've been talking your ear off for almost 15 minutes. Well, it's going to be 15 minutes. But this video will probably be shorter once I do some cutting. Just wanted to get that out there, guys. So, as always, leave a like and subscribe because there's always room for more. I will leave Jack's opinion, Mark's opinion, Felix's opinion in the description below. And remember, as I said, this is all my opinion. And I know if you say you're just hiding behind that, no. If I'm wrong, I'm willing to take it. You want to say I'm wrong, go ahead and tell me how. So, I've got hair in my face. But just know that I did all of this for Felix. And for those out there that are being oppressed right now, that either don't deserve it or accidentally stumbled upon oppression and don't know how to handle it. There are people out there. If you can't take care of something, like, for example, a child, there's always your next door neighbor. And if that neighbor can't, Move on to the next. Move on to the next. Move on to the next. That, or go to your parents if you have any, and ask them for guidance. Life is too short to be bickering over jokes and how terrible a person is. Life is too short. Life should not be wasted upon things that don't matter. What matters is life. What matters is what you do from here. So the question I have to ask all of you is, what will you do? That's what I have to ask you. So as always, leave a like and subscribe because there is always room for more. And I'll see you all in my next not Last of Us. I want to play a game so badly. I Am Alive video. Ta-ta. Goodbye, everybody.